Okay. Okay. Looks like I'm the first one here. All right. Okay, nobody on here. Okay. Oh, do we have somebody? Hello. Looks somebody's here. Okay, what's the time? Today is Thursday, December 26th. So it is 9 o'clock. So I'm here in Vietnam. So it's 9 p.m. at the moment. And for those who are living in the East Coast, it's 9 in the morning. So the day after Christmas. All right. Okay. Just testing to make sure my sound's okay. Yeah, just give it. Maybe I should have done it an hour later, but I'm just taking consideration of the time zone. Okay, I see two people come in. Hello, hello. Hey, I see Mike. Hey, Mike. All right, let's see. Looks like still some people still feeling the after Christmas, you know, that post Christmas feeling. Feel like I had nothing else to do, right? Um, Only in the chat I can only read the what you guys are writing, so I can't really hear. So I think this stream is mostly for just have you guys just type, just say hello, and maybe ask all any questions that you guys have in the chat box. So whatever questions you guys have, I'll be more than happy to answer any of them that you have. Okay, cool. I think I see three people so far, so good. So you guys, for those who are coming in, don't hesitate to say hello. I'll be happy to say hello back. Um, so yeah, this is my first live stream, so I'm very intrigued with how this will go for today. Um, I only reminded the Facebook page um, that I will be staying up until like 12 o'clock. So for you guys, you will hopefully stick around if you like. It will still be up until noon time, Eastern time, and then I'll have to get to sleep at midnight. So I'm giving everybody a chance to, um, you know, try their best to meet me here at this live stream. Um, Hopefully, answer some questions that all of you may have. Um, so yeah, let's see. So I have with me this little capybara. Um, so this he will be with me throughout the whole chat. So he'll be a good company uh, in case you guys are very interested. Okay. 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 Yeah, it seems like many people are not waking up, or maybe a little busy in the morning, I guess. So yeah, maybe we can stick around for another hour or so. It's only one person. Hey, no problem. Yeah, I should have done the live stream later, but that's okay. But just let me know if you guys can hear me okay. Uh, right? So, okay, awesome. Okay. Hello, Radio Free Ambler. Nice. All right. Awesome. Yeah, I wonder how many people are showing up. I can see on my screen there's only one person. All right, cool, cool. All right, yeah, no problem. We could definitely wait for more people later. Again, this is a pretty early hour for most of you or some of you back home in Pennsylvania and maybe other parts of the United States. So I'll definitely give you some time. Uh, yeah, we'll just hang out here, um, chill. Okay. Yeah. So for those, if you're joining right now, you can just go ahead, click it, go ahead, write in the chat box, say hello. Um, the more I see that, the more I can just get started. Um, and maybe um, whatever you guys want me to share, whatever questions you guys have about anything with me, my life, or even talk about my work, writing local history about Ambler, Whitpain, and Lower Gwynedd. So I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you guys have. But I'm very open to answering anything that you guys are curious about. So I'm really excited to really hear what you guys have to say. Again, this is my very first live stream. Can't you believe that? So this is your once in a lifetime opportunity to really get to know me. So yeah, so I am the one and only Wissahickon Valley Historian. Oh, Radio Free is my new project. That's really cool, Mike. Yeah, I can't wait to hear more about that soon. Yeah. Okay, so um, yeah, so Wissahickon Valley Historian. That is not my real name. That is the name of my website slash blog that I've been working on for 3 years, at least 3 years by now. Um, so uh, I think it's amazing, like how many years I've been doing it, and I've been getting a lot of recognition from all the people who are living in the community right now, and just really understanding the true history, and then some even unknown histories of their own hometown, and it's really cool. My job is to help people learn more about the community that they're living in and being more aware of their own history and towns and even their own homes. I think that's the goal I was trying to do when I started this blog, just to help people gain more knowledge about their own surrounding area. So yeah, so that's my gist. Let's see how many more people will show up for today. Okay, so far so good. You can hear me okay? That's great. That's great. Okay, wanted to see how the mechanics of this worked. What? So do you mean like how the live stream works, Mike? And what was your first story? By that, do you mean Okay, okay. So I'll answer the live stream. Luckily, YouTube is very easy to manage. You just simply add a live stream video on your YouTube account, and then just set it up however you like. It's pretty simple. Um, and yeah, like even after you laid out your live stream when you're scheduling it, uh, you're allowed to go back and adjust the timing, the time zone of like when you want to start your live stream. It's very simple. You just simply click create new video or create live stream, and then they have all the setup for you. Simply fill in the blanks. It's very simple. So yeah, I've been working on YouTube for a long time. I'm used to like all the features that YouTube has, and it's very easy to use. So I think YouTube is a more neutral place to do live stream, compared to using other social media platforms like Facebook and Instagram, because not many people have either of those accounts. So I try to find the most neutral platform to set up my live stream. So yeah. So if you want to try YouTube live stream, go for it. It's really fun. I've seen other YouTubers do it. It looks very easy. So I gave it a shot. So why not? So far, it looks pretty good. Okay. Okay. And second question I see is, what was your first story? By first story, do you mean what was the first blog that I posted on the Wissahickon Valley website? Is that what you mean, Mike? Ah, okay. Um, oh, I really had to go back. Um, so I remembered it was 2019. I was actually, what was it? I did multiple posts at once. Um, so I was at Temple at the time. I was studying my field in historic preservation, and I got to really enjoy doing a lot of Photoshop work during my time in Temple. So I took advantage of that and decided to Photoshop some images of some pictures from the Images of America book series. So I played around with it and see like how can I manage to Photoshop with the past and present of the buildings that we know and love today. So those posts are mostly related to Whitpain Township. So all those photos, all those old pictures that you find from Images of America, they were simply just placed on um, the present day pictures that I took during that time, and then just trying to find the right angle uh, to try to match the image from the old picture. It's pretty hard, but at least get like a 90% accuracy with that. Um, so yeah, I mean that was basically my first post. I just posted multiple photoshops, and then even um, copied and pasted the captions that the Images of America series would describe the buildings that were there at the time. So yeah, that was basically my first post. I was just wanting to share my skills in Photoshop and just see um, how they look. So it's interesting. It's very interesting. Um, do I have a favorite image? Ooh, that's a good question. I haven't really thought of it. It's either between um, hmm, probably the Center Square Hotel or the Broadex Tavern. Those are like really interesting photoshops I did. Um, I mostly find the Center Square Hotel, also known today as the old furniture store. I totally forgot, like Reed's Country Store or something like that. Am I correct? Um, that's been a while. I haven't heard any news about the place, but I think the Center Square Hotel was my favorite. I just loved how it looked back then. I thought it looked really, very Western style with the architectural features. I thought it was really cool. Um, So yeah, I mean, I got that image in my head for a long time. Uh, but usually, I have the Broad X Tavern as my like thumbnail, as the main image whenever people think of Whitpain Township, because it's one of the oldest. Um, yeah, it's one of the oldest taverns in the township, and I really, I just been curious about that for a long time because I know what year was Broad X Tavern closed? 2019, I believe. Like right before COVID started. Um, like no one has owned the property yet, and I'm like pretty concerned about that because it's a really nice building. It's really too bad that no one took a chance to really take it. So Broad X Tavern is a very interesting one for sure. Yeah, Reeds, huh? They're gonna move Reeds. I wonder where. Maybe within Whitpain Township or somewhere else in Montgomery County. I honestly don't know. Yeah, I haven't heard any updates about the old buildings that I've first posted about, um, in the beginning, in the very beginnings, because I don't know, it's just taking a long time for those guys to really, uh, try to find somebody who's more than happy to renovate or try to reuse the buildings that. You know, oh, okay, Reed's gonna be off the road. Okay, right. Is the 202 still expanding? I remember being there last summer. Like, I see a lot of construction going on at the time. I did not know they're still expanding. Hmm. I think the 202, they are expanding to for the bike lanes, right? Because I've seen some open lanes for. Yeah, yeah, it's really interesting. Yeah, I keep remembering driving around that area. It's not that great. It's super long. It's such a super long route to get to Montgomeryville or East Norrington. Um, so yeah, like I remembered my mom trying her best to avoid that area whenever she goes shopping. So um, like she would usually go on the 309 or through let's see, if you go past the Broad X Tavern, if you keep going on Butler Pike, yeah, Butler Pike, and then you turn let's see, right onto Norristown Road. Yeah. So those are like the main routes where we would go um, to Montgomeryville or to East Norrington. So for some reason I like driving on that because I'm so used to that road for so many years, and like I don't really feel like trying a new route because of course I'm gonna get lost. Yeah, I miss driving those areas. Yeah. Yeah, that would be interesting. If the workers did dig up anything that's could relate to Wissahickon Valley history. Um, yeah, yeah, that's an interesting thing that you brought up, Mike. Maybe the Wissahickon Valley Historical Society could address that to the township, and that'd be pretty cool. I don't think I ever heard anyone doing anything archaeological related for a couple of years. I believe. Oh, really? They found the George Washington slave house in Philly. I wonder. I'm very curious. What did they really find at the in that area? Like, I don't know, some like missing clothing fabric, or I don't know, like a coin. Uh, that's what I remembered. Because I watched this documentary, or this TV show by Josh Gad, Expedition Unknown. So hopefully more people can show up and they probably know about the show. So Expedition Unknown, he goes on to like he travels around the world to find some treasure that was left from history. So yeah, so like he did research on the Dome brothers. So Mike, if you remember being at the Mercer Museum, we were at that exhibit. So they found a lot of coins that were left around the old home of one of the buildings that the Dome brothers were staying at to hide themselves from the, you know. the law. So yeah, that was pretty cool. They found like numerous coins from that same century, the 18th century. So and they even put that in the exhibit at the Mercer Museum. That's really cool. Okay, so they found some stuff from Washington Slave House during its construction. Oh yeah, see, I was right. So they probably used the metal detectors to like detect anything that's metal related around the ground. So that makes a lot of sense. That definitely shows some evidence that this home or this place existed during the 18th century. So that's really cool. That'd be cool if I would do something like that. I remember like a few years ago, I well, I saw, for some reason I bought myself a metal detector. It was so cheap. I bought a metal detector that was so cheap. It hardly like you know detects further down, like more than like I don't know, whatever how many feet that it can reach. So it was so cheap. I just totally wasted money on that. That was a missed opportunity. But hey, who knows? I could do some archaeological work on myself. Okay. All right. So what is my favorite buildings in the area? Um, by area, do you mean like any area in Ambler, Whitpain, or Lower Gwynedd? And which do I think are the most architecturally significant? Okay. Okay, so I guess I'm assuming on Ambler, Whitpain, and Lower Gwynedd. Ooh, that's a toughie. Um, I mean, right away, when I think of some of my favorite buildings that I've done throughout my research, it's definitely those homes that were owned by the wealthy families who were coming into our area during um, like the middle of the 19th century up to the 20th. So I like the ones that I really loved and discovered was the ones in Whitpain, because like Whitpain is like okay, let's track back. So like Lower Gwynedd is actually known more to be for a place for wealthy families to live at, but not many people think a lot about Whitpain Township. You know, like during Whitpain during the 19th century, um, Whitpain is more of an agrarian community, very farming. A lot of families were doing a lot of farming, so there's not much recognition of a place where wealthy families could live. But I was fortunate to find some of those buildings that still exist in Whitpain. Like they're so hidden, like in Google Maps, like under the trees. Like there has to be some reason why those buildings were hidden, and I haven't found it. I haven't found them for like a long time since I wrote about them until like I suddenly randomly go through some real estate website and then finding these homes that actually still exist till this day. Um, so with that, the one building that really stood out to me in Whitpain Township was the home that was owned by the Drayton family since the 1870s. I mean, when you look at that building, it's just so beautiful. Like it looks so well preserved. Um, but like I'm sure the insides and maybe some outer parts of the building that are renovated for the families that are living there today. So I'd say that's the most my favorite one. I would say as of now, I mean, I'm still haven't thought about which other buildings, but I would say my favorite architectural style would have to be the Second Empire. I just find the Second Empire buildings so beautiful. Like they're very simple with an elegant roofing design and like the porch that were laid out. It's just very beautiful. Whenever I see one around our area, I was like, wow, I really wish I have a house like that. It's just Second Empire homes are the most beautiful, and I'm so glad to see some of the homes in the center square part of Whitpain. They have those rows of old buildings, their Second Empire buildings on homes that are still exist. And I did write about that, and it's really cool to see that they still exist. It's really interesting how that area is considered a historical district. Yeah, those porches are so nice. Yeah, I was surprised when I looked up the geographical map from the Pennsylvania Historical. preservation historic preservation website. They laid out like the list of places that were registered for the National Register, and some of them are like not even qualified. So when I looked through our area in Whitpain back in my time at Temple, um, so I was playing around and seeing like, okay, what kind of buildings that are nominated for the National Register, which ones did not make it, which ones are a possibility. Um, so if I remember correctly, um, so again, I mentioned the Second Empire homes that were in Center Square. That area was considered like the historical district of that Center Square. I'm not sure why. I mean, there's not really anybody who was super famous living there, as I recall. I mean, they're just really nice, beautiful homes um, that just still exist today, and they're very well used till this day. Um, so yeah, I'm just really questioning. Okay, maybe just because of the Second Empire homes that are still considered as Second Empire homes, and they were left as like original, I assume. So who knows? Um, so I mean, I can keep talking about the maps um, that from the Pennsylvania Historic Preservation website. Um, I can say, if I remember correctly on this, Ambler was considered like the place where there's a bunch of opportunities and possibilities that some of the buildings that still exist in Ambler could possibly be part of the National Register. I think Ambler should really look into that because Ambler is like the most active. Yeah, yeah. So like Ambler is a huge opportunity. Like the people, the borough of Ambler, they should consider looking into this, National Register nomination. A lot of people over time have been, coming to Ambler, visiting Ambler. They wish to live in Ambler. It's a huge opportunity to really, give them a really good history of, the area, and then like how much impact does it have. So, yeah, um, Ambler has a really good opportunity. And then I could finish off with the map subject. So like Lower Gwynedd, I get so frustrated looking at Lower Gwynedd because there's honestly like I didn't find a lot of interesting details in history with Lower Gwynedd. Meanwhile, Ambler and Whitpain are like have a real good history. Like a lot of like there's good people who were living in the area during the 18th and 19th century, and they did a lot of great things, and really represented our town with that. But I'm just surprised that Lower Gwynedd didn't really have much, except like you know founding of the Friends Society there, and then just a bunch of wealthy people living there. That's pretty much what Lower Gwynedd is known for. But I'm just doing my best to try to find as much research as I can about Lower Gwynedd. I mean, Lower Gwynedd does have a good African American history, so hopefully I can continue working on that. So, what's the oldest map that I found? Um, the oldest map that I found was from the 1849 map of Montgomery County. Um, so if you look through the Library of Congress, they have a bunch of maps that are dates back to the 18th century, maybe even the 17th century. Um, so I try to find maps that are more detailed into our area. So I was fortunate that the 1849 map has the details of Ambler, Whitpain, and Lower Gwynedd. Of course, with Ambler and Lower Gwynedd, um, Ambler was part of Upper Dublin before it officially became a borough itself. And then, of course, Lower Gwynedd was part of Upper Gwynedd. So it was all together as Gwynedd. So I had to be careful with the boundaries of like, okay, where did the Ambler border stop and where did the, the border of Lower Gwynedd begin? So I was fortunate to know where the boundaries were. So I was very careful with um, like, okay, where exactly am I looking into? Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I'm glad to hear that you guys are working on the on nomination. Um, so on the architectural significance, I'm really glad that I've been getting a lot of notifications about your efforts with creating this nomination for Ambler. We really need to push that because honestly, Ambler has a huge opportunity to really show some historic recognition to the community. Um, it's really going to be a bummer if nobody, really puts effort on it. So I'm really praying for all of you guys to really do your best and, you know, and doing it as much as you can to show the evidence to the world, or let's just keep it locally. Just show like Montgomery County or the people living there. We really do love the history of Ambler. Like this really impacts how who we are today. Um, so I'm really definitely keep me posted on how that's going. So I cannot wait. Lower Dublin. Oh, yeah, that's a good question. I never really thought about. Yeah, like we know Upper Dublin. Um, I guess Lower. I just thought Lower Dublin would be Ambler. I would assume that because if there's an Upper Dublin, then I'm assuming Ambler was Lower Dublin. I didn't really say from history, um, but hmm, yeah, I don't know. I never really. Yeah, okay. So like speaking of Upper Dublin, I've been doing a few posts that that relates to Upper Gwynedd. Um, so like Lower Gwynedd, Upper Gwynedd, they're kind of together in history. So like I wanted to kind of make Upper Gwynedd a part of Lower Gwynedd's history as well because they were all in all in one township during the formation of Gwynedd Townships in 1698. So I like to maybe do more of Upper Gwynedd in the future. I mean, again, I just want to, um, you know, just like to contribute to, Gwynedd. We're not going to forget. We will never. Yeah. Yeah. So why? Yeah. Good question. Why did they separate? I did a little bit of research on that. So it took place in 1891. Um, so there was some debate about the division between like the lower part of Gwynedd and the upper part. So like there are like two different types of people living in um, each division between like Swedeford Road. Um, so I guess it's just because the people were like, okay, you know what? I think it's time to separate us. I think there's an obvious distinction between the people over there near North Wales and the people near in Penland. So um, I think just they decided to vote on that, and they're like, okay, let's split it up, and that's pretty much how it is. Um, it's just the people. It's just the people's voice that really made the township separated. Um, yeah, I wish there's more detail into that, but that's really interesting. Like, okay, I guess the people decided to split their way, part ways. I guess so. Yeah. So yeah, it's a huge mystery with why is there an upper Dublin, but there's um, no lower Dublin. Yeah. Yeah, very interesting. Um, but yeah, I mean, going back to talking about the townships that are outside of our area. So yeah, so like maybe someday I can maybe consider Upper Gwynedd to be part of our history because they were part of us since 1698, before 1891. So that'd be pretty cool. I did do a couple of posts on that, so I mean, who knows? I mean, maybe the same thing for Upper Dublin. I'm not sure if I want to talk a bit. I mean, I did mention like Upper Dublin a bit in some Ambler histories because they kind of do play a role with how Ambler kind of formed. Um, so it'd be nice. I think maybe someday I can open up a bit and talk about Upper Dublin. Like again, I just want to still connect with Ambler's history. Same thing with Upper Gwynedd. Still want to connect with Lower Gwynedd history. So yeah, I can definitely contribute to some of those townships. Sometimes I like to purposely not mention Upper Dublin simply because I was a Wissahickon alumnus and we're huge rivals with Upper Dublin. So I'm like, you know what? But I think time flies. It's been 10 years since I graduated high school, so I think maybe it's time to be open to learning more townships. Yeah. Um, I don't know if the split of 1891 has something to do with the Quakers. I just know that the split happened within the Quaker Society during 1827, because they split with the Orthodox and the Hickites. That's what I think that's how you pronounce it. Hickites and the Orthodox. So it's very evident when you go to the Penland area, um, Penland and Lower Gwynedd. And so yeah, that was like a huge discovery for me when I did a post on the split with the Quakers. Um, I remember that one day I was driving in Penland, and then I just saw that little sign on the like which side am I driving on? So like on the left side, when I'm driving towards Springhouse, um, like it's just like why is there a random sign there? It's like what is that anyway? And then I took a look at Google Maps and I saw like this square space that was surrounded by stone. It looks so abandoned. I have to someday visit there. I try to be like those typical TV hosts who go to those places they never expected to go and try to trespass everything. And I actually did that. I trespassed by myself, and there's no sidewalks for me to go on, and it's very scary to cross the road from the Wissahickon Trail. Uh, I was right there, and then trying to get over there. It was scary, but it was worth it. Um, yeah, I remembered. Being there the first time, it was so scary. Um, I was like, "Wait," I just realized I'm surrounded by all the dead people from the from the 19th century. I was like, "Oh, geez," like I'm not sure what's gonna happen. I was so scared that there's gonna be somebody who would, um, yeah, yeah, that road is very scary. But I was fortunate. I was very careful. I literally ran from the the sidewalk all the way to the abandoned cemetery. So yeah, I ran. I know with no hesitation. I just like did it. Um, but yeah, I mean that was the first time ever I visited a cemetery. That was the first time. I never expected um, something else to happen except for like maybe I don't know. Like I know there's a house that is that the former Orthodox Friends Society home place uh, that was right there, and I was so afraid there's going to be somebody there who's going to come out and say, "Hey, you're not supposed to trespass here. Go away." But nobody caught me. I was very fortunate. I got my camera. I was just taking pictures of the burial grounds of like people, very famous people, or not very famous, but like famous family names. So they were some members of the Folk family were buried there. Some of them are from the Evans family. So that's pretty significant because those families are very famous in the area. Um, so it's pretty interesting to see that they were buried here, and that definitely tells you that they do belong in the Orthodox Friends Society. Um, so yeah, it really does tell you a lot about who these people are when you visit these cemeteries. Um, Speaking of cemeteries, yeah, oh yeah, Ruth Ambler. I'm not sure if I think I remember seeing that name before. Yeah, yeah, did not know that. Yeah, so yeah, it's really interesting. Ruth Ambler. I wonder if there's some relation to Mary Ambler, but I'm sure there's some type of relation because in that area, everyone's like marrying each other. They, it's just like okay, they're all just like connected. Yeah, yeah, overgrown, huh? Yeah, yeah, I would say so too. But yeah, yeah, those cemeteries are very interesting. I remember being recommended to visit the Rose Hill Cemetery to find the African American burial grounds there. Um, I was told that there were like a certain section in the cemetery that has all the prominent African American civil citizens who were living in Ambler and Penland at the time. So that'd be really cool to take a look and see who those people are, and maybe even decipher the tombstones, and because those are so worn out, hardly anyone could read it. So that would be pretty cool to visit those types of sites. Um, it makes me think back to like after Temple, I interned with the Pennsylvania Historic Preservation Group. So they were, so I worked at the Eastern office in the Hope Lodge area. So they have like a little home, little building right outside Hope Lodge. So that's where I interned for the summer that one year. Um, so my job was to research and write about the churches and cemeteries of African Americans. I think that was really cool. Around Pennsylvania, even. Um, so obviously, we're not including Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, because those are like the most popular areas where we can easily find evidence of African Americans, churches, and cemeteries. So my goal or my job was to find anywhere else in Pennsylvania where there were African American churches and cemeteries that still exist or used to exist in the area before it was demolished. So I was given a lot of resources thanks to my supervisor, Shelby Splain. She was my supervisor at the time. She truly helped me out um, with this project. So uh, yeah, I can say that you know what, I had to be honest. When I did those types of research, I I don't remember including Bethlehem Baptist Church. I should be ashamed of myself because I really I did not include that in my search. I was very broad in my searches. I didn't go super deep into like the boroughs and townships. I was just like, okay, are there any African American churches in um, I don't know, like Allegheny County or like I don't know Erie County, Lancaster County. Yeah, those areas. I was very broad. I think I should be ashamed of myself for not including Bethlehem Baptist Church because because those are like because like obviously that I should have known. I totally have huge regrets on that. But again, overall, it was a good project. I learned a lot about like there's a bunch of African American churches and cemeteries that existed before and still exist now. And what's really cool is that there were African American burial grounds that were unmarked. Unmarked cemeteries are like the coolest things that I ever discovered and find out. Um, they're super hard to find, but it's so cool to find out like who are those exact people. And I remembered the one unmarked cemetery somewhere in Pennsylvania where like there's some massacre of African American fugitive slaves. They were trying to escape from slavery, but they were caught and got massacred for it. I had to look that up because that was a very interesting history. So they were buried at that very spot where they were killed. Yeah, no kidding. I had to remember what that was because, like, it was an unmarked cemetery. It was very hard to find. Somewhere in Pennsylvania, I had to remember. I had to retrace my steps. Not in Montgomery County. I don't think so. It has to be maybe somewhere outside of that. I had to take a look. Um, so okay, are the resources that I use during the internship available to the public? Um, Not all of them. Most of them are like more access within like if you have an account or something. If I recall, um, I from the maps that I found, it's definitely subscribed with the Pennsylvania Historic Preservation Office. So they have a lot of free access to that with under their subscription. So yeah, subscription is the main thing that's in order for you to get these amazing resources that they provided. So yeah, yeah, those were like the resources that I used. So I had an account at the time, so I was able to use those sources to really dive into those research. Um, so yeah, um, yeah, that internship with the Pennsylvania Historic Preservation Office. I mean, they're really cool people. So the people I had there, I mentioned Shelby Splain, um, and I forgot his last name, but his name was Corey. He used to work for the preservation office, but I think he moved somewhere else. But he was a really cool guy to be around with. Those are like the coolest group of people I ever met. I had the opportunity to visit Harrisburg with them. I got to meet all the people who were part of the historic preservation office. They were so cool. I visited the archives over there. Those guys are so nice and really welcoming. I get to really learn a lot too. Um, yeah, that was my very first time visiting Harrisburg. That was really amazing experience. Unfortunately, I did not meet Governor Tom Wolf at the time, but um, I was told he usually eats lunch with the other Pennsylvania government workers, during that time. So definitely missed that opportunity. Um, so, do I have a collection of resources to share? Um, the only thing I can have offered is the the link to the Ambler Gazette archives. So I believe that was from the Power Library website. So they digitally archives all the historical newspapers, like the Ambler Gazette. So that's like my number one go-to resource when you're looking up local history. So that's definitely the number one resource that I can offer you. So if you want to take a look at some interesting history behind Ambler, Whitpain, or Lower Gwynedd, the Ambler Gazette archives is your go-to. Yes, I do have a link to all the resources that I've used myself. So I will go ahead and find that on my website now. So that way you can have access yourself. I did have all the important resources on my website. It's just unfortunately not many people looked into it, which is okay. No, I need to promote that more. But um, definitely, I'm gonna include the link here. I can do that. There we go. Yeah, so this is the website. Um, so all the resources I have available are on there. So um, so like I some of them are included. The Ambler Gazette archives I have there, and I also have them from Google Books or Internet Archives. They have um, like the biography profiles of local citizens living in Montgomery County or even Pennsylvania as a whole. So those are really great. It's very interesting, like who those types of people are who are living in our area at the time. Um, but I could say those people that I found on those sources are prominent farmers. So I'm like, okay, cool. We got some famous farmers here. And what did they do exactly? So, yeah, those some things I did. And of course, the historical maps. You can easily find them from the Library of Congress, or you can also find them from the historical map or historic world map website. Um, or actually, what it's called is Historic Map Works. So if you look that up, you can just simply type in the name of the town or borough that you're looking for, and it's going to be right there. So that was how I was able to find the maps from 1870s, 1890s, 1916, and even the 1930s or the 1920s too. So yeah, but I could say like the very first map resource that I found was from if I can find it correctly, from Philadelphia Geohistory website. So if those who are familiar with that, uh, It's a pretty cool website. It's very interactive, um, very organized, and then even like splits up in certain maps that is available. So for the 1916 map, yeah, the 1916 map is the only map that is available from the Philadelphia Geohistory website. Um, so like it's really, I think it's like visually it's very nice to view. Um, but that was the very first map resource that I found um, ever since starting my website. So um, yeah, definitely check that out. Let me see if I can include that in the link too. And if you like any of the resources that I mentioned earlier, please let me know. I'll be happy to include the link in the chat so for all of you to access. I believe I have um, that in the bibliography link as well. Yeah. I mean, like the one from the 1849 map is the oldest I can find that um, mentions Ambler with paint and Lower Glened. So 1849 uh, would have to be the oldest one that I've known. I think what I remember from my college years at Temple, I thought I found a map that is older than 1849, but I don't think it I don't think it really mentions much of it, like who exactly, lives in those areas. Like it just shows the name of the township, but it doesn't show who or what are those buildings that are in there. So I didn't really look into those much, but I remember finding that during my temple years. So yeah, I don't know. It's really interesting. Let's see. Time check. It is 9:52. Okay, still early. No worries. So I'm going to open this up. I will leave this open for everybody to have a chance to um, come up and just see how we're doing. I will probably have to stick around until midnight Vietnam time. Um, so you guys will have a better chance to really have some questions, really share some thoughts that you have. Um, okay. Yeah, so hopefully for those who are coming in, make sure you say hello. That way I know, like, okay, who's really here. So, yeah. Um, let's see, what else can we talk about? Let's see. Any other thoughts? Okay. Yeah, love that. Um, yeah, so let's see. I'm sorry, remind myself what day it is. So it's Thursday night, December 26th, here in Vietnam. Uh, we we already celebrated Christmas yesterday. Um, Actually, that's a good time to say that because you guys are waking up. So yeah, we celebrated yesterday. So what? So like the biggest thing that happens in Vietnam, uh, so it's more for those who are Christian or Catholic. I mean, the majority of the people in Vietnam are Buddhist. So when Christmas comes around, all the events that involves Christmas will have to be involved with the church. So the for those who follow me on Facebook and Instagram, I shared some pictures from my story of a church that is in Saigon. It is one of the most famous churches there, and they have like all these lights displayed all over, and then just an opportunity for people from around Vietnam or even from internationally. There's some foreigners there. They have a chance to just simply take pictures and just enjoy the view of the church that all surrounded by the lights. Um, so I mean, like basically, huge events like Christmas, it's photo opportunities. People love taking pictures in Vietnam. So no matter what religion you are, or no matter what, like you're more than welcome to take pictures just for social media purposes. So it's a picture opportunity, no matter what holiday it is. Um, So like people have an opportunity to update their profile or just share like what's going on during the holiday season. Um, so yeah, I mean like for those who are Christian and Catholic, they still celebrate normally, very traditional. They go to the church, do some service there. I do have a friend. She is Catholic. She does go to the church. She's very very devoted Catholic. So yeah, she's definitely that. Um, but like celebrating Christmas here is very different compared to being in the US. I truly miss being at the Christmas Village in Philadelphia, and I actually went to the one in Bethlehem too. So those are like one of my favorite memories at Christmas back home in Pennsylvania. Like it's just truly screams the spirit of Christmas. But when I'm here in Vietnam, it's like okay, it's they don't really care as much. But even though they put a lot of decorations up for Christmas, they try to make it very exciting. Even for my own school that I work at, um, they put up all these amazing decorations. They're really good at decorating, I'll tell you that. But it doesn't really show that same spirit as how I would celebrate it in the U.S. Um, but yeah, I mean, Vietnam likes photo opportunities and marketing opportunities. Um, just to show their love for Christmas. So yeah, uh, yeah, Christmas is definitely different. But I guess like what I see it, being in a warm climate here, it makes me think of those southern states like Florida. A lot of people like to go down to the beach and enjoy the warmth instead of the snow. Um, so I kind of like that every year. Maybe a good time to escape from the snow and um, just experience the warmth here. Um, I heard right now you guys have snow back in Pennsylvania or maybe other parts of the United States. Um, I'm very jealous right now. I really miss the snow. Um, I really, really miss that feeling of that winter. Um, I actually maybe I'm probably forgetting what winter is like right now, just because every day I'm just wearing a t-shirt and the shorts. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'm forgetting winter for now. Yeah. So, but there are some other parts in Vietnam that are very cold. So, is so if you go like further up north past the capital of Vietnam, Hanoi. So if you go further up past the capital, it's super cold. So you definitely need a coat when you visit up there because you're going like near the mountains. So whenever in Vietnam that you are near a mountain, it's it's so cold. You need a coat. You need a coat. Okay. Yeah. So just a note: if you're ever visiting Vietnam someday, if you want to visit the coldest part up in the north, make sure you bring a jacket. I did not visit there yet, but very curious. So is gift giving a big thing even if a person isn't Christian? Um, I would say yes. I don't see much of it. But people do like the gift givings and gift receivings. Um, yeah, so like people just are still nice to give out gifts even though they're not Christian. Like I do have a friend, like he is a Buddhist. His family's Buddhist, but they understand that, you know, me and my family, we celebrate Christmas, even though we're not Christian, but we enjoy the holiday every year. Um, but they, show us that they truly care by, giving gifts to us. So it's really nice. So it depends on the people. If they, how much care do they have about Christmas and especially you, especially. Um, so yeah, it really depends on the people. Um, I'm not sure if there's mountains or snow in the mountains. Um, I'm not really sure. I don't know many people who go up there a lot. I hear a lot of people, actually, this holiday season, I've been hearing a lot of people going to Japan or Korea to, enjoy some winter activities. I was like, okay, looks like I guess better snow is over there. um, yeah, I'm not really sure if there's really snow up in those mountains, but I think maybe in at that near the China border, there might be because I thought I saw some images of snow being around that area. So I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure. We'll have to find out. Um, but yeah, a lot of people have been going to Japan or Korea um, to just simply to experience some winter weather. Um, I'm hoping that they have a good time. I get it. Not many. A lot of people are so used to the warm weather, they just want to escape and go to somewhere that's super cold, and they prefer it that way. Um, so yeah, I mean, I don't blame them. Oh, really? Which one of the Hawaiian islands have snow? I never seen snow in Hawaii. I've been there last year, but I never seen snow. I was in the Honolulu area, so I had no idea. That's probably like a rare case scenario with having snow in Hawaii. Pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. Hmm. All right, the southern one. Yeah, I don't know the name of those islands that that in Hawaii. I don't know any of the islands. I just know that like Honolulu is probably the biggest one. Oh, well, I can actually ski in Hawaii. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm just checking some updates if anybody is joining. Yeah, some people might be busy. Some people might not be aware that we're live now, but I I just posted like what is it, 2 hours ago that the live stream is happening soon. So I'm hoping more people will show up. Um, but yeah, well, it's my first live stream. It's all good. Yeah, so the skiing in Hawaii thing, I had to ask my sister because she lives in Hawaii right now. So maybe she visited there already, or she might have known. Yeah, so that's very interesting to find out. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's see. Yeah, where have I traveled in Vietnam? Yep. Yeah, so we and one of my favorite places. Uh, yeah, we visited a couple of places. So we mostly traveled um, like in the southern part of Vietnam. So for those who know Vietnam War history and you just look at the map, so the DMZ, if you know what that is, so we we only travel around Vietnam under the DMZ. So the only furthest up north that we went to is in Hue. So Hue is my dad's hometown. So we visit there a couple of times a lot, mostly for family visits. Um, so that's furthest north we went to. And then the furthest south we went was nearby my mom's hometown. So the name of my mom's hometown is Banjea. Um, it's a pretty small town, but it's definitely definitely a place to visit. Yeah, in the Mekong River area, it's really nice. Um, so I visited a couple. Like I've been to other places, like further north from here in Saigon, somewhere that's close by. I've been to a couple beaches, um, so I mean they're pretty cool. Um, and then like I mean I can probably name them if you like. Um, so from the north of Saigon, I will say I visited a couple of beaches, like some names like Vung Tau. I visited Phan Thiet, Mui Ne. Those are like huge beach areas, like very super nice, very touristy as well. Um, and then if you go like actually besides the beach area, that area that I mentioned, those areas are like very well known for preserving the Champa temples. So Champa are like the people from Cambodia. So during like the 1300s, Vietnam and Cambodia were like um, I'm not sure, like, I wanna say friends, but, they were just, taking over each other or something like that, but the Cambodian people, the Champa, kings and royalty, they had temples that are still preserved till this day, and I visited a couple of them, it was really cool. Yeah, it was a kingdom, yeah, Champa Kingdom, as they called it. Um, yeah, I think, like yeah, there's definitely a relation between Vietnam and Cambodia because of like the marriage between the royal families of each country. So that's how the kingdoms of Champa existed. So around that beach area that I mentioned, those are the most common areas where you can find the the Champa temples um, that belonged to the Cambodian people during the 1300s. So I visited there. It was really cool. I never knew that was part of Vietnam's history at the time. So that's something worth learning about. Um, but yeah, I mean, going to Hue, you're going like the central part of Vietnam, like that's the true history. Hue used to be the capital of Vietnam before Hanoi became the official capital of the country. Um, so Hue, my dad is so lucky to be part of that area. He was born there. He grew up there. His home was actually behind the very famous imperial palace that belonged to the Nguyen dynasty, the last dynasty to exist in Vietnam before the communists took over. So my dad's home was right behind it, and he keeps telling me how like every day he has to go to school, like he has to go through the palace in order to get to school. Um, yeah, yeah, like when you go around my dad's neighborhood, it's a very old place. It's considered like a village at the time. It's because a lot of old buildings exist since the 19th century, and it's really very old. Um, when you go through it, it's very tight, very small. You can still kind of fit a car when you're driving, but you have to be careful because it's so narrow. Um, but yeah, I mean, like not many people preserve the really good buildings unless they're very historically significant, right? Same standard as the US. But they were, you know, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So, like my dad's area, it's considered very historic. It's considered an old village in Hue at the time. Um, but I really wish that they took it more seriously in preserving the homes that still existed till this day. Um, but like they look so old and really worn down. Like I just kind of felt bad for those places. But I was fortunate, my dad and I were fortunate that his family home is still preserved till this day. I'm not sure when his home was built. I think it was built around the 1920s, probably during the time that let's see, 20s, probably somewhere in the 20th century. Um, maybe like after my grandparents were married or something, but the house still exists. It's really nice though. Like my one of my aunts on my dad's side of the family still owns it and lives at that place. Um, but yeah, that was really cool. So yeah, Hue, if you're really into like anything historical, you want to learn more of the history of Vietnam before the I guess before 1945, then Hue is the place to go. So Hue is very historic. You can see all the old structures that still exist there. It's so cool. I definitely recommend visiting there if you want to learn more history of that. So so all my dad's side of the family, some of them are living in Hue, but other relatives on my dad's side, they're living in different parts of central Vietnam. So so there's a place called Da Nang. Da Nang is actually very known for their ports. You know, they're very they have like a beach side, very well known for that. Um, and like back then, the French was using Da Nang as a port to import their goods. So yeah, I'll give you some brief history there. Uh, so some of my relatives are living there too. So yeah, we do visit there sometimes. Um, so because it's a really nice area. Um, Floating markets. I'm not sure about Hue and Da Nang. I'm not sure, but I know that in the very south, the deep south, and around Saigon, but mostly deep south of Saigon, floating markets are so common. I never got to visit them, but I've seen them a few times. Um, so there's this place called Ganthe. I visited there in the springtime of this year, earlier this year. Um, it it's very well known to have a floating market. It's very touristy for sure. Um, but I never got a chance to go because I only spent there for a few days. But um, I remember when I went there, like my dad and I, we discovered this old ancient house that belonged to a wealthy merchant during the 19th century, and it's still preserved to this day. It's a it's a tourist attraction place, but it's such a beautiful place, a beautiful home. Is like when you go inside, like all the stuff inside the home, all belong. It's so like very um, extravagant. I like to describe that. So yeah, that old house has a lot of extravagant stuff, even like some stuff that belonged to the French, and it's even featured in a movie, a French movie. Uh, yeah, so yeah, I mean like there's some things like when you're traveling around Vietnam, like of course you want to visit the most famous sites, but there's some things around there that you may not know. So that's probably my goal in mind, just to find some places that are not as well known as you may think, but it's still considered a tourist attraction. Um, so yeah, I mean, like for me as a Vietnamese American, like of course I know these famous sites in Vietnam. Like I don't really need to go there, um, but I'd rather go to somewhere that I would like to know more about. Like something that nobody has ever mentioned or said to you, um, ever. Like even my own parents, like they don't even know that some old buildings that belonged to a wealthy merchant still existed in the deep south, especially. Um, so like, I mean, my parents knew the history too, but they're like, they don't really care much to know because it doesn't really involve them. That's why. Um, yeah. So like, I feel like the more I'm here in Vietnam, the more I want to really learn more about my family history. I think that's like my goal in life, especially because I've been doing some family history of my own for a long time. I've been asking a lot of questions with my mom and dad about like, my ancestors, my grandparents. They were telling me a lot of detail. Um, and like one really cool detail that I found out during one summer when I was back home in the US was my grandfather, my dad's father, he was part of the military during like the early 20th century. He worked under the last king of Vietnam, the last emperor, Bao Dai. Uh, he worked under him. And he was, I believe, my grandfather was part of the Second Indochina War against Ho Chi Minh's army. So that was really interesting. Um, I was like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I actually did start a family tree. I My very first family tree was back in seventh grade. I did like a pedigree project where we learn about like which genetics and all that. Um, so I got help with my mom and dad and my sisters as well because they were very good at biology, so I had to get their help. Um, so they, I got to really start the my very first family tree. It looks really cool though, because like, see if I remember. So like I had two pieces of paper, one from my mom's side and the other paper from my dad's side, and I like combined them together, like try to put me and my sisters in the middle, just to, try to fill in the puzzle. And yeah, I mean, like all my classmates at the time were so shocked to see how big my family tree was. And like, I think my science teacher still kept that project. I had to ask. It's been years. It was 2010. Oh, 14 years ago. Wow. Yeah, so I really want to know where that project was. So I gotta find it. Um, um, the only known family history that I have was only up to my grandparents. I mean, I've seen a burial ground of my great grandparents from both sides. I even have I even found pictures of my great grandparents from my mom's side, but my mom hardly knows anything about them, and neither does my dad. Because I mean, great grandparents, I don't know. Um, I mean, that's like the only thing I know that I could go back from. But I think, my dad and I were talking about, who we could relate to. Um, we could. My dad was thinking that we might be related to somebody who was like one part of the dynasty before the Wien dynasty. So like there's one like famous like there's like three brothers who were part of like one dynasty, the Tyson brothers. Yeah, they ruled Vietnam for like a little bit. So that was in the late 18th century, probably like 1780s, all the way up to like maybe up to 20 years. That's their reign. But my dad admired those people at the time, and he wished that he could be related to them because their last name were similar to mine, the whole family. So my dad was like giving hopes that we might be related to one of them. Who knows? And sometimes we make a joke that my mom was related to Dynasty, the Wayne Dynasty, because I mean it's hard to describe them, but like they're not really one of the greatest dynasties in Vietnam because they were the dynasty that brought the French in Vietnam and also, you know, pretty much the fall of the monarchy, right? Like we never had a dynasty ever since 1945. So my dad and I pretty much joked around my mom because of her last name is Leon. Um, but yeah, we're just joking. That's really it. But it's a funny joke. Um, yeah. Oh, I don't know. I just know that like in today's Vietnam culture, like you're more than welcome to keep your maiden name. So like, my mom doesn't want to keep our family name because like Ho, the last name Ho is not a very popular last name in Vietnam. Ho is more like originated from China. So she doesn't want to be mistaken to being a Chinese. So instead, she decided Nguyen. She likes to keep Nguyen as her, maiden name. She wants to keep it that way because she likes to stay as a Vietnamese. Um, oh, there's an article about why Nguyen is so popular. Of course there is. Um, yeah, I don't know. I had to say like maybe Nguyen has something to do with the dynasty. Maybe that's why, because they're. I think I'm not sure if I'm right about this, but there's this one king during the Ming Dynasty. He had a lot of wives, maybe had an affair with some women, and then like had a bunch of children with different mothers. And I have no idea like why, but um, it's really interesting. I don't know. I'll be like laughing so hard if my mom is actually related to them, but I'd rather not. I think I don't know. Finding DNA where your ancestors come from is a challenge, um, but it'll be awesome to know, like, okay, who might be related to us, and like how far back can I go? Like, can I go far back to the 1700s? I would love that. I would love to know. Um, so yeah, I'm not really sure where to begin. I mean, I don't want to pay so much money for it, but if I have to, maybe I should. I mean, Ancestry is a pretty good website. Who knows? But yeah, hmm. Yeah. Let's see. Do, 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 do. Yeah, it's pretty early. Okay, still early for some people. Let's see. Maybe I should give them like an update. Like we're live now. Do, 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 do. Mhm. Yeah, I mean, like in terms of some articles and newspapers I've been following around here in Vietnam, they do have some good articles that for foreigners that talk about some important news. Uh, so, like for example, what happened recently in last weekend, we had the first metro. We opened our first metro in like 20 years, as I was told. So my friend and I, we went on the metro for the first time over the weekend. Actually, no, it was yesterday on Christmas. We went on the metro for the very first time, and it was very good. It was fast. So, like one round trip. Or actually, no, not one round trip. Like one whole trip from one place all the way to the end took us 30 minutes. It's really not that bad. It makes me think a lot. No, actually, it doesn't go all over this. It only goes up to like okay, if I can lay this out on the map. So like you start here and then you just stop like over here. Like it's kind if you think about SEPTA regional rail, it just only goes up to like one area, one section of the city. So yeah, it was really cool. Very modern. I mean, the coolest thing about the metro is that it actually shows you where the next station, like, what's the next station and where you are right now. I was like, I did not expect that. I wish SEPTA could do something like that because I would know which stop I will stop at instead of the conductor saying, next stop, Ambler. But yeah, I mean, like, now that I know that they have the metro, people can be able to go on the train and just go anywhere they want without taking a car or a motorbike around. And it's very cheap. If you want to pay for round trip, uh, it's probably like, let's see, I keep forgetting how the conversions work. Um, so in Vietnam dollars, it's like 40,000 dong for one round trip. So it's like probably like up to, I don't know, $3, $4 for a round trip. That's so cheap. So I would totally go on the metro and travel if I like. Um, so yeah, and like my friend told me that like there's one stop in the metro that goes to a university. Um, so it definitely brings me back to Temple and how like SEPTA goes through there, and of course Penn and Drexel. It reminds me of those times that I commuted to college, and my friend told me that before the metro existed, he had to take the bus from his hometown all the way to like further away from the city. And it took him like, I don't know, forever, maybe an hour or something. But thanks to the metro, and now all the students who are at that university, one university in that area, can finally take the metro to the city if they wish. So that's really cool. My friend is so jealous that he wished metro existed, uh, but yeah, it really makes me think about SEPTA a lot. I miss going on SEPTA. Um, no, I have not visited a university library yet. Huh, that should be my trip. But I'm sure my dad can arrange it. He makes a lot of good connections with educators in Vietnam. Well, maybe not educators in general, but for those he met and close to, he would definitely make some connections with them and have me visit them someday. Um, and yeah, I mean, like from looking at those images of university libraries here, it's not a lot as I expected. I mean, they're very modern, if I can recall. Um, like they're very modern. They don't really have a lot of physical books available. Um, like they don't have like the archives as you think, compared to Penn. Um, I'd rather visit a university library that's more historical like Penn than a modern one. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it would be fun to see a rare books documents collection. I would love to see that around Vietnam, but unfortunately, they have it in a completely separate area, like in a museum, or even like their own, building that with that. But of course, I think museums here would be a go-to place if you want to find some rare books or collections that you will never find online or you know anywhere that you can hardly reach. But museums are like the place where you can easily find those types of documents. Um, I mean, yeah, you pay a lot of money to see them, but unfortunately, that's just only a limited time. You don't really get to spend a lot of time using those. So I don't know. Maybe like the rare books and collections that Vietnam has may not be in Vietnam. They might be. I don't know. They might be around Vietnam that we never thought about. Um, like I remember seeing something that um, they might have some rare collections in France because, obviously France colonized Vietnam. And their collections are mostly there, so that'd be pretty cool. Maybe travel to France someday and visit their library and see some collections relating to Vietnam. Well, at first I had to go back and learn French again because I totally forgot my French since high school. I totally feel bad because I haven't really used much of the language. Um, but yeah, I would love to see a rare book collection someday. I try to find some good libraries to visit around here, but Vietnam is not very known to have good libraries. I mean, Vietnam has a lot more bookstores, so you rather here in Vietnam you keep the books for good rather than borrow and return. I guess they're not really used to that type of norm with libraries, but since I am a librarian myself, I have the opportunity to teach them, how the library works and how valuable it is. So, I mean, I feel very outnumbered in my field, but hey, it's worth a challenge. It's good to teach them something that they may not know. So, hey, what was the phrase that they taught? Like you can teach an old dog new tricks or something. Um, so yeah, I try to keep that in mind for sure. But yeah, the metro is pretty fun. Yeah. Okay, what was the most interesting place or activity I've come across? Um, hmm, I don't really have anything in mind. I'm not like a type of person who goes to these like any type of event. I just, most of the time when I'm here, like I usually get invited by my friends to drink some coffee or drink some milk tea to just socialize. Like I don't really do anything that exciting uh, yet. I don't know. Um, but like the only thing that I did was from Christmas Day when we visited the church that has all the lights all wrapped around and everybody took pictures. I think that's the most interesting place during Christmas. I think that was the ideal location for Christmas. You see a church with all the lights like that, take a picture with it. That's pretty much it. And a lot of people there were like hanging around there, just chilling around, just having a good time. It's super crowded. It's like a concert, but it's just a place to just hang out. Um, but yeah, I would say that's like the only activity that I only did yesterday. So yeah, that's pretty much it. No, I don't. Okay, I guess maybe in Hue they did some reenactments of the time period during the 19th century, but I never got a chance to see it in person. yeah, I I don't know. I guess it's just bad timing that I didn't get a chance to see those types of reenactments in Hue, because Hue is probably the only place where they have like reenactments of people, like of the royal family that was living there at the time and reigning the country. Uh, so yeah, those that's like it's a lot of buildings around that palace. They still exist, and of course, that's an opportunity for the reenactors to reenact the life of the royal family who were living there during the 19th century. So I really wish they I could visit at that time. I need to look at their schedule to see. Um, but yeah, I would say like that would be my only time to visit that area. I mean, I only go there for family visits, but that's so boring. So I think seeing some reenactments are um, will be awesome. I mean, like I don't see many reenactments. I just I thought there might be, there should be. I think there should be, but at the same time, Vietnam's history is so complex and also very controversial. So maybe they don't want to do much of it. Maybe during the emperor, all the kings and royalty that existed before the 20th century, they would probably do something like that. So if they do that, then they would most likely do it in Hue, because obviously all the buildings there still exist. Um, so no Renaissance fair. I don't think so. There's no Renaissance fair. Um, Obviously not. Uh, I mean, Vietnam has tried their best to do like all these like Western European theme events that attracts the foreigners. I've seen that a couple of times, and it's really interesting. Um, they do impress you with what they can do to attract the tourists. Um, but yeah, that'd be interesting to see if Vietnam could do a Renaissance fair. Let's see. I don't know. Um, I actually been to a Renaissance fair in Lancaster with my friend a few times. It was so fun, so worth it. Um, you definitely dress up in that era. You feel so cool in it. Man, I was the last time I went. I dressed up as a pirate. I still have the pirate hat till this day, and I bought a wooden sword just to show off my costume from that fair. Um, but yeah, I mean, like, I hope to someday go back. Yeah, I love the Renaissance Fair. It makes you really express your true self with costumes that are from that era. But yeah, I'm curious to know, like, what did the Vietnamese people dress up as during the 13th century? Easy, some peasant costume, probably. Yeah, I can probably imagine that right now. But that'd be pretty cool if I can make my own twist. I should have known to make my costumes more historically accurate instead of being a pirate. That was a pretty interesting costume of mine. Yeah. Um, but yeah, that'd be pretty cool if Vietnam could do any reenactments. Unfortunately, like here in Saigon, there's not a lot of historical villages. But there's a lot of historically significant buildings that still exist. Um, some buildings that are constructed by the French. That's pretty cool to look at. Um, but there's not really any historical reenactments based on that. Like nobody really wants to dress up as like a French colonist during the time. But yeah, I mean, a bunch of peasants for sure, like emperors there as well. Yeah, yeah. Some buildings do survive, but they are not like okay. So like the most famous buildings that Vietnam wants to preserve, they're very beautiful. They're like they did their best, right? They did their best to make it very pretty and not make it so deteriorated looking. But for like other historical buildings that they may not care about. Like it looks more. I don't know. I guess they can still preserve it, but it's not as acknowledgeable as the other iconic buildings. Like here in Saigon, we have the post office, constructed by the French in the late 19th century. Um, Very beautiful, very yellow. You go inside, it's so like very extravagant with the European influence that's shown there. And then we have the Independence Palace. Um, it was one of the most famous places because April 30th, 1975, the VC, the Viet Cong, they stormed the embassy. That was embassy for the U.S. at the time, and that was that day that the Vietnam fell into communist hands. That was a memory that my parents don't really want to remember, but that Vietnam likes to remember. So they kept it, they preserved it. I mean, they kept the previous history of the South Vietnamese presidents who were living there at the time. So that is known to be like the White House of Vietnam. So Independence Palace. Yeah. Oh yeah. The French colonists would not be very popular. Oh no, it won't be popular to the Vietnamese people. But it would be cool though if they had to think about being more open with the tourists. Um, that would be really cool. Uh, yeah, who knows? Yeah, though the Independence Palace was turned into a museum. It's now a museum. Um, so you can just walk around there and get a tour about the insides, and then of course to see the exact spot where they seized the palace and then fell into the hands of communists. Obviously, they like to praise that part of history, and I'm like, okay. But my parents visited there with their friend, with a friend of theirs. Um, they loved it. I mean, they don't like the history of it at all, but they like the surrounding area. They have a coffee shop there, so like they had a good time with like the relaxation. But history, obviously, they're like, you know what? I'd rather not. um, yeah, so Vietnam's history is so controversial. Like, it's hard for me to really talk about it. It's very easy to talk about Vietnam's history up to 1945. That's it. You just stop there because after 1945, it's just really there's some information out there that Vietnam does not want to share, and you have to be careful with that because they'll censor you or like I don't know. Um, yeah, I mean that's my own heritage. Like I should talk about all of the history, but I grew up like my ancestors are from the southern part of Vietnam, so I want to respect that part. Like, you know, I want to respect where my ancestors come from. I mean, I don't know the full story, but I just only go up to my grandparents. That's really it. Um, but that's during the 20th century. So, yeah. Um, I mean, like, Vietnam is such a tourist country right now. It's hard to visit all these famous places. Like, it's so touristy. Like, you get easily trapped in there. Tourist trap, you know? Um, so I'd rather visit places that are not really as well known, but they're still places to visit, you know? Like, if they still list it as being, like, the best place to visit, but it's not as touristy as you think, because not many people think that this is really part of Vietnam's history, but it technically is. It gives you evidence of like who these people are and the construction of the place. The place I visited in Can Tho, we visited a home that belonged to a wealthy Vietnamese merchant. So it tells you that there are actually people in the deep south from Saigon who were very wealthy. They have a lot of money. They worked for the French. They worked for the Vietnamese government, and they got this wealth and they built these extravagant homes. Maybe only one story, even one story. It looks so rich. So like it's really cool to find out who these people are. I actually started to learn more about that the more I stayed here. Um, and like continuing the topic of history, yeah, Vietnam they love to depict history in their movies and books, and they turn it into like a historical fiction story. Um, they really like doing that. I've seen a lot of movie trailers and TV trailers of like historical fiction depictions of war times. I'm like, oh wow, okay, I didn't know they praise a lot about that. Um, and then like recently they did like a movie that was about like this, rich man who came back from Paris and then just shared the wealth with his family back home in Vietnam, and then of course something, you um, so and that's pretty interesting. That's like, based on real people. Some things I never know, but like, the things I don't know, it turns out is something that my parents actually knew, but they don't really talk about it. It's really interesting. Um, yeah, so I uncover a lot where I stay here, but hopefully in the long run, I get a chance to explore my own family history and diving deeper past my before my grandparents. Is there something that I should know that you know is worth looking into? I think that's my long term mission. Whether I stay in the U.S. or here in Vietnam, I have to think to myself like, okay, where where can I begin? Like, who could I start with? Like, what does my family know already before you everybody moved on? So yeah, whew, wow! I did this live stream for like an hour and 41 minutes. Ah, it's amazing. I need a break. I talk so much. Thanks. I'm just doing my best. Yeah, not sure if I should remind my followers to go on YouTube now. Maybe I should. I mean, I did post it. Okay. Do, do, do. Yeah, so maybe after this live stream, I could like share. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think yeah, it's a possibility. I can like share this with everybody. Yeah. I mean, if they're into it, but it'll be better if everybody's part of it. I guess I don't know. Not many people have like YouTube. I mean, I think the majority of the people I know have Gmail accounts, so they should be able to access YouTube um, from here. Um, but otherwise, uh, it's a good start. Yep. So thank you, Mike, for asking all these great questions. Okay, yeah, you're more than welcome to share any suggestions that you have. I mean, I could definitely fix a time zone. It's just very difficult. Yeah, yeah, time zone's been a challenge. Like, I'm not really sure when everyone's available. I should have just posted this like way after Christmas because I didn't know people are still kind of busy during Christmas time, or maybe I don't know. I assume people are bored. They had nothing better to do after Christmas, so I'm like, okay, maybe this today would work. Oh, who knows? Whew. Yeah, it's getting late for me right now. Yeah, I've been up like this before. I mean, it's okay though. I mean, at least I'm on Christmas break. I only have 1 week off, so I only go back to school day after New Year. Yeah, so um, definitely have a lot of time to sleep. Uh, really taking a break from all the stress that I've been having from work. Yeah, I've been pretty busy for the past few weeks and past few months. Um, just like doing my hardest, making the library good. Uh, just obviously helping my fellow colleagues. Yeah, Yeah, I mean today, um, overall, it was a pretty chill day. I just spent time with my parents. Ordered Chinese takeout. Yeah, we found a good Chinese restaurant around the city. It's really good. It reminds me of if you know this place in Philly in Chinatown. Um, in Chinatown, they used to have this restaurant called Joyce and Lao. It closed probably during COVID time, but it's such a great restaurant. I missed it so much. But I think they have an equivalent restaurant somewhere in like Colmar, the Colmar area. If you know Golden City, that's a place where all these parties and wedding venues. Um, so it's pretty similar to Joyce and Lao. Like they have like really good food, very similar to them. Like I remember going back there for the first time. I forgot how long ago it was, but like that was just makes me miss that restaurant so much. I love the food there. It's amazing. But anyways, we ordered Chinese takeout today for lunch, and it was so good. We their wonton soup is excellent. You know, the restaurant was like from Hong Kong, so it obviously the food is fantastic. So I had a really good lunch today, uh, and that I really satisfied myself. And I took a long nap after that too. Yeah, it was really worth it. It's been a while. I haven't taken a long nap, so it's about time. Um, yeah, the Notre Dame event. Um, yeah, that is only for Christmas. They only have that open during this holiday, so you won't be seeing that anymore after Christmas. So they're gonna take down all the lights and just have it normal again. Just be a typical tourist site. Um, so yeah, uh, yeah, the Notre Dame Bastille. I think that's the full name. The Notre Dame Bastille of Saigon is one of the most famous churches in Vietnam. Obviously, it's very French influence. It's named after the famous Notre Dame Cathedral. I'm so happy that it reopened this year. Oh my God, it was just so beautiful when they reopened. Uh, it took, I mean, it's obvious it took them so long to, um, you know, restore everything that was burned down back in 2019. Yeah, that's right, 2019. Um, so yeah, yeah. I don't know. It has nothing to do with the Paris reopening, unfortunately, but they should. It's related. They almost have the same name. Um, yeah, that was a church. Yeah, it looks pretty cool with all the lights wrapped around it. But they, they made it specifically for Christmas because obviously it's a church, and of course it's perfect for all those Catholics out there. Um, so yeah, but honestly, yeah, I wish the church is more related to the Paris reopening, but I'm not sure how Vietnam would arrange that. Um, I mean, the church that I visited didn't even look like the Notre Dame church, so that probably is the reason why they don't relate it to Paris. But at least they named it after it. That's pretty cool. But yeah, definitely like when you go to Vietnam, you see a lot of some French influence uh, around. Uh, So like the old buildings, obviously, you see the European construction. It looks so beautiful compared to like the typical Vietnamese buildings that you would normally see around the city or even around Vietnam. So yeah, so you'll see like the more beautiful ones that are more European constructed for sure. Yeah, and yeah, some of them are still exist. They still exist today. They're just not used, not really used a lot. So chances are they might be abandoned. But that would be unfortunate because those are the most beautiful buildings that you would ever see around here. Um, so yeah, that's a kind of missed opportunity from the government there. Do-do-do-do. All right. So 10:50. So almost. So yeah. Again, I'm gonna do this up to midnight, um, and I'll catch some long sleep after that too. Mhm. Ambitious. Yes, I'm doing my best to stay up. I'm just thinking like, okay, this is like New Year's. Oh, I could have done this again for New Year's. Maybe should I? Should I try this again for New Year's? Everybody stay up and do this again. Maybe. I could probably do this again for New Year's Eve. Actually, that's a pretty good idea. Ooh. Oh goodness. I was like down under the weather lately. I was thinking because of the weather change. Yeah. Yeah, because like the weather changed to like cooler weather. Like many people are getting sick and just not feeling well for the past few days. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'm part of that. But luckily, we have medicine that we brought from the U.S., so we easily recovered faster than everybody else. So we're very lucky. But yeah, anyways, like I could probably do this live stream again on New Year's Eve. Yeah, maybe there will be some people who will stay up till midnight and um, hopefully get another chance to see this. Um, but yeah, we'll have to see. I think that will work. Well, luckily this is my first trial, so this is um, yeah, New Year's Eve. I think New Year's Eve will work best. Um, so like, hmm, actually, come to think about it, huh? Maybe okay, because like I'm thinking about my New Year's Eve, because like we have our New Year's first before you guys, so yeah, I probably have to think about that. Um, yeah, a Saturday would have been better. Time work. Yeah, time zones really throwing me off sometimes when I think about you guys. Um, but I'm getting used to it. Uh, even those jet lags that I've faced every summer, every time I go back to the US, I take a few days to recover, maybe a week, just take a break. Yeah, so yeah, my parents and I we're very used to the jet lag at this point because every time we fly back and forth, I think like my parents, they're very strong. They recover very quickly compared to me. Um, like they're so used to it. They get up. They still get up early no matter what time zone they are in. And I was just like hearing them from the kitchen or around the living room. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, okay, like I guess you guys recovered faster than me. So yeah, yeah. So I'm glad this is a first test. Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I guess my key helper here is my little capybara. Yeah, I can tell you these are very popular here in Vietnam. Capybaras are a huge thing. Because I mean, if you look at all these capybara videos online, they're so cute, and Vietnam's catching up. People are catching up on the trend here in Vietnam, and like they're obsessed. They come in so many sizes. Like this size is like the normal size, in my opinion. So like this, there's like bigger sizes too. Oh, they're the stuffed ones. The stuffed ones. um, there's actually a real capybara in a place called Dalat, a very nice, cool area to visit if you like the cool weather. They have a zoo that has capybaras. A lot of people are there. My students were telling me that they visited there, and I'm so jealous. I wish to see the real one someday. Um, I'm actually surprised that they are actually here in Vietnam. I thought they're usually in like South America, right? They're usually capybaras are like from South America, but yeah, I don't know. I didn't know. So hopefully someday. But anyways, these stuffed capybaras they come in different sizes. So this is like the normal size in my opinion, and there's like huge ones that I see my own students carry to school, and and they come in different colors too, and they come in different accessories. So this came out with the turtle bag. So yeah, this is a very special one because my friend gave this to me on my birthday earlier this year, and like I've kept it in very good condition ever since. So I'm very committed with this one. It's like a best friend to me. It's like a little pet. Yeah. Yeah, South America. Yeah, capybaras are from South America. That's where they mostly live. So they are the considered like the giant rodents. So if you see their teeth, they look like exactly like a rodent. Um, yeah. So these are very cute. Um, I mean, these types of ones. I mean, like this particular size, it's very cute. It's very fat. Like you can eat like probably yeah, they're giant rats, but they're very cute. Yeah, it's very weird how Vietnam has these types of obsessions. I see them. Yeah, I think like the more I see these capybaras around, the less interested I am. But I still like my capybara stuffed animal, but it's just getting tired for me to see all of these in front of my eyes because it's just getting very annoying. Yeah, many countries love them now. They're obsessed. Oh, yeah, for sure. They get obsessed with everything. But yeah, yeah. Actually, I named this. Not many people understood the name of my capybara, but it's a very simple name, not very overlooked. But I named it Trevor. So meet Trevor. I mean, like Trevor is such a cute name. I thought I could was a cute name for this. Yeah, I came up with very weird names for like any animal. So, but I like to make it unique, not very um, simple like any typical dog names like Max or Rocky. So I try to stay away from those types of names. But yeah, yeah, it's he's been like a best friend to me since. I don't carry it to school. I don't carry it to my work because I know my students will take it and maybe abuse it. So I rather not risk it. Yeah. Oh yeah, Trevor. Yeah, it's not a popular name. I don't think it's a popular name, but I still think it's a cute name. Um, but yeah, I guess I would say that the Trevor's birthday is the same as my birthday because it's the same because my friend gave this to me on my birthday, so we share the same birthday. Um, I let's see, try to figure out how old this capybara would be. So let's see, we're December. February was the month, so 6 months. I would say still a baby, still a baby capybara. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I have like other stuffed animals too. Um, I don't really. Nah, they're not as great as this one. Like I think this is the most special one because it was on my birthday that I got it from my friend. She really cares about me a lot, and yeah, she considers me as a little sister to her. So she just like gave me this. She knows. I think like um in that same month, like she knew how obsessive I was with like how cute these capybaras are. Like I was just like telling her how fat they look and how adorable, and then she pretty much got the idea of giving this to me. So yeah, that was really nice of her. Um, I like this really, like a memory. This is truly part of my memory. Being here in Vietnam for sure. I think the best memory ever. One of the best. This little thing, this little guy here is part of it. Yeah, I was thinking about bringing this to the U.S. last summer I should have brought him over and just introduced him to everybody. But yeah, like, but I have too much stuff in my suitcase, so I couldn't bring so much. So like, I really hate the suitcase policy. I just don't like how there's a limit, but uh, I'll figure out a way to bring him over. Um, so I'm sure he will someday meet all of you. Uh, so he would love to see America someday. He will love that. Yeah, he'll be my travel buddy for sure. Yeah, someday. But yeah, where has the neck pillow? I could. Yeah, probably. Yeah, he fits him probably like that. Yeah, yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah, if luckily I call the window seat, so I get to lean against the window and feel that. Ah, yeah, I'm not really looking forward to those long plane rides. So I, I mean, I should be used to it, but it depends on the air quality in the air quality in the plane that truly matters. Because the last time I was on Korean Air, I mean, it was okay and all, but like I guess it also depends on where you sit. So if you sit in an area where you're not exposed to too much air that it comes in, like I'm not sure if you recognize the plane smell, right? Like the plane smell, it's the worst smell. So if you are exposed to that, then there's chances that you won't feel well. Yeah, that happened to me actually when I flew back here. I wasn't feeling too good. I tried my best to stay up and try to sleep in a good position, um, but it was not that fun. I literally just went in the bathroom and just like yeah, not so great. Um, Airplane cold, yeah, that too. Yeah, I mean like the food didn't really help either. Um, the food isn't really that great if you're under the air quality. Yeah. Um, yeah, there's some flaws, but um, like if you're ever encountering those situations, I'm not sure. Like maybe get ready for it. Um, but yeah, the last time I was on the plane, we were sitting in the middle seat. Yeah, middle seat. Aha. Yeah, not that great. I wish I was at the window seat. It could have been. I maybe it could have helped me better because like the middle seats sometimes I think they're the seats that expose more of the airplane quality or the airplane smell. It's not that great. But yeah, I just really I just get too excited. Yeah, yeah, yep. You're right. You're right. Middle seat for overseas. No, not that great. But you know, we don't really reserve seats. I think my dad's the one who like tells them, okay, give us whatever seats available. We'll handle it. So we're stuck with that, and I'm totally okay with that. Honestly, it is at least um, at least uh, we experience being in different types of seats and different different feeling. So we know okay, we know by now okay which area of the plane is better and all that, and we're really good. We're really good with long flights. Like if we like we whenever we have a long flight from Korea to JFK, my mom and I were the ones who like to walk around the plane to stretch out our muscles, try to make us feel good. Um, but my dad is lucky. He's a heavy sleeper. He just sleeps through the whole thing. He's so good at that. I don't know. I don't know how he does it. He's just good. He's just an old man. But he just adjusted very quickly. uh, oh really? Oh geez. I see maybe in one comment. Um, I got stuck in one coming back from California. Oh yeah, yeah. Flying domestically. What last time I flew was back. Uh, I was flying to Texas, and Yeah, it was. I never knew how crowded domestic flights were. Um, it was not that fun, but at least it was a short flight, 2 3 hours, not that bad. Um, but actually, if you fly around Vietnam domestically, it's actually not as bad as you think. Because like there's only took the longest flight if you go like further way up north. It only takes you like 2 hours. It's really not that bad. And flying from Saigon to Hue is not that bad at all either. It's only 1 hour, and it's so good. I'm impressed. Vietnam Airlines is very good. Um, the service is excellent. They give you water and small snacks. It's really good. But yeah, yeah, flying. Uh, Something I had to get used to for a long time. Yeah, I feel like I'm becoming a traveler now because I'm already used to long flights and jet lags and all that. Yeah, I agree. That is a spam. All right. Yep. Okay. I just deleted that comment. Yeah, I don't think that comment was very necessary. Um, uh, yeah. Yeah. So like, first live stream, maybe I have to look at. Let's see. Yeah, this just came out of nowhere. Yeah, so I had to like think about how to handle the people here. Let's see. Hmm. Ah, okay. But yeah, let's see. Because of this. Okay, that's good. Yeah, so um yeah, so okay. So we're at 2 hours now. We are close to midnight. Or for me it's close to midnight. Um yeah, that's pretty good though. I didn't even look much at the time. So everything's going pretty well. Yeah, everything's all quiet. Very nice evening here in Saigon, Vietnam. Um, very quiet. Everybody's quiet. Um, I'm sure there's still some people out there at night who are taking a stroll or just chilling out there. Oh yeah, during the nightlife here in Vietnam is a lot. It's very interesting. Um, if you really like to drink and have a good time, definitely a lot of people at that time who are drinking and having a blast. Just drinking at the bars, especially with the foreigners too. Like they do that as well. Um, I did like visit a few, but yeah, um, yeah. Let's see. Well, I mean, like typically the Vietnamese men, they would most likely just go out and just have drinks at a bar. Um, but like the foreigners, I mean, no matter what, yeah, tourists you are, yeah, uh, they they would usually just like go out and drink. So any foreigner, whether you're a male or female, they you can just go out and drink. I've seen that a couple times. Pretty interesting. Yeah, like those are my colleagues. They usually go out and drink and have a good time. I was like, okay, I didn't know you do that. So, yeah, mhm. Yeah, okay, yeah. I had to consider the like moderation. Let's see, is it reactions? Yeah, so I'm just experimenting with the live stream, see how this is going. All right, cool. Okay, okay, nice, nice. I see some. All right, all right, 4 people. Nice. Okay, for those joining in, welcome. Welcome, say hello. Okay, everybody doing okay? Hey, hey, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Hope you had a great Christmas. Yeah, it's all right. No worries. They're not too late. Um, yeah, I'm just leaving this live stream open until um, 12 p.m. Eastern time. So just giving everybody a chance. Uh, yeah, so that's a great question. So, what got me into researching my local area? Um, Well, it all started when I was at Temple. I was a student at Temple University, just going for my bachelor's degree in historic preservation. I was, during that time, I was so into local history. I was like really impressed with the history of Philadelphia. I explored a lot of Philadelphia history during that time, and it really made me dive into the history of my own area, which is the Wissahickon Valley region. And just comparing of what I found in the area compared to Philadelphia, it's obviously very astounding. Um, like there's some things uh, in the Wissahickon Valley that I never knew about, maybe some things that I've seen a lot for many years but never learned it. So that was an opportunity for me to dive deep into these certain types of subjects that that I would like to learn more about. So um, yeah, woohoo, go Owls! Yes, I truly love Temple. Truly a great school. It really got me exposed into Philadelphia history for sure. Um, so that was pretty much how I got into local history in the first place. Um, so that that really that really got me there. Um, yeah. So yeah, basically, I just simply just like to dive deep into like my own area. I just want to learn more about like the history behind it, because we know like the typical history of Ambler, right? We from like the Mary Ambler and then the Keesby Madison, right? We know those, but what about other parts of Ambler? Like, what are some other things in Ambler's history that we should know about, right? Those, because that's something I want to dive into, because I want to find something that no one else would ever find, right? Uh, yeah. So, but yeah, like just like to yeah, just like to do that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, thank you, thank you. I'm so glad you're enjoying the posts about Ambler and Lower Gwynedd. Yeah, yeah, Ambler is very interesting. Like, it's very unique, for sure. Because again, like we know the typical history, like like Mary Ambler and then Keesby Madison, but there's other parts in Ambler's history that we should know about, and actually, there's even people in Ambler that played a huge role in making the community as we know it today, right? Because Ambler, it started out only on the eastern part of Butler Avenue. So every development, it started there. That's the early beginnings of Ambler before 1888. So all the history of early Ambler um, is, really really cool. Like even the Mary Ambler house still is on that side of the Butler Avenue. So yeah, I mean, like over time, it starts growing and growing, and you get to learn some things that didn't know it actually existed. So, but yeah, and like Lower Gwynedd is an interesting history too, because Lower Gwynedd used to be part of Upper Gwynedd. So together, it was called Gwynedd Township. So the split happened between Upper and Lower was in 1891 when like the people in that area decided it's time to split. It literally there's two different types of people living in Lower Gwynedd and Upper Gwynedd, and they thought it's time for them to like split, and then just like okay, you know, I think it's time to distinguish ourselves from the other part of Gwynedd and make ourselves a Lower Gwynedd. And then they like okay, I agree, let's make it Upper Gwynedd. So yeah, I mean like that's pretty much how the split happened. And then like Lower Gwynedd is known more for their African American history. Um, so like it's really cool to find that out and learn more about the history behind it. Yeah, yeah. So do. But yeah, like Lower Gwynedd has a pretty cool, interesting history. May not be as exciting as with Payne and Ambler, but hey, you never know. Yeah, I had to keep diving more research into Lower Gwynedd and see what I can find. But yeah, yeah, I can definitely read all the comments. Yeah, do. History always remind pain. I wonder what you mean by that. Um, but yeah, Ambler does have a good environment. Ambler definitely feels like a little town for sure. Definitely, I think it's one of the most well-known main streets in the U.S. I believe. Um, but yeah, Ambler is should be recognizing more for their history because it's an opportunity for them to engage with the people who are living there, and yeah, yeah, Ambler has a good opportunity to really express more in their history, so that way people learn more about it. Because like Ambler's a very thriving town. People have opportunities to really express whatever. Oh, um, yeah, African American history is very complex, but for me, whenever I do African American history, I like to look into the positive aspect of African Americans because they're living in our area, and I like to acknowledge them, and there's a reason why they were living in Penland and Ambler for many years. There's a reason, and they feel very proud. I know many African Americans in Ambler and Penland who live there for so many years, and they feel so happy and be part of a really good community. And it's really important to really show that positive aspect, um, and like acknowledging their existence in our community. I'm doing my best to show all the positive parts of history and showing more detail and like how exactly did they settle down in Penland and Ambler. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, African American history has some complex history, but since I'm focusing more on the local history, I like to emphasize more about like, okay, like, is there anything that is worth talking about? Is there something that that connects the dots, right? Because African American history is part of American history, and I like to tie it in with what we know, and then what do we know about our area. So try to combine those two together. It creates an interesting story, I would say. So, do, do, do. Okay. Yeah, I definitely have to be careful with moderation, with yeah, moderating the chat. Yeah, that's sometimes you gotta be careful with all the people that are on the live stream for sure. Oh, I love that question. Do I have a favorite historical time period? Oh, um, I've been a huge fan of the 18th century. I I I adore their clothes a lot. It looks to me like a very simple clothes to wear, even though there's a lot of complexity for the women, especially. 'Cause, like, I fell in love with all the colonial clothing ever since I interned at the Peter Wentz Farmstead. For those who know, it's a very famous place in Montgomery County in Worcester Township, worth visiting. I love that place so much. It truly got me introduced to working in libraries and archives in the first place. Um, so I just love working there. I just love their clothes, especially like it just looks so cool to wear. I um I never for some reason I like to wear their like their like typical outfits for men because it looks so simple to wear, but for women, I don't know. It just like there's like those like 19th century like compared to the 19th century, their dresses are so complex, very like they have to wear a corset and all that. But as for like the 18th century, the clothes are not too much, right? Like I'm dressing up as like a normal Pennsylvania farmer, right? And the clothing is not really that complex in my opinion, but I would like to try to dress up like one someday. I would love that. So, anyways, 18th century is my favorite historical time period. I don't know. I just like how nice it looked. I mean, the paintings. I mean, I feel like everything looks so cool back then. In my opinion, a lot of cool history for sure. Um, but yeah. Ah, yes, I did. I do have Martin Kilson's book. I use his book sometimes during my research about Ambler, especially. Um, I did read a couple sections. I didn't actually read the whole book, to be honest, but the information that he provided was really interesting. Like he talks about like all the famous families, all the famous African American families um, in Ambler were very prominent back then. Like one person I did write about in my website was Dowling. I think I said his name right. Daniel Dowling. He was one of the most famous or prominent uh, residents of Ambler and part of the African American community at the time. And it's really cool to learn something about him. Like he was a Civil War veteran. He has like family. He has like sons, right? He has sons who also fought in the war too. Like I think it was World War I. I did write about him. He was really cool. And then like we even have a post that was named in his honor. That was really cool. So like there is a reason that he's really very famous in Ambler. Um, but yeah, it's really cool how Martin Kilson talked about these famous people and like I tried to research their names through the Ambler Gazette archives, and unfortunately not like um for Daniel Dowling, like he's very easy. Like his name was mentioned many times um in the Ambler Gazette archives. It's really cool that like I learned something more about him from what I know. But as for other people, it's very difficult because some of those people are just like normal civilians. They didn't really do much except like helping others, making business and all that. So like it's challenging to learn information about very simple local people. Yeah, yeah. So like, but yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I'm just trying to moderate the comments in the meanwhile. All right, all right. Yeah. So, but yeah. Anyways, like these these people that Martin Kilson mentioned, like especially about Ambler High School, and like I didn't know like the daughter of the pastor Caesar Edwards, like his daughter was like the first um, black student to graduate from Ambler High School, I believe, and like I want to learn more about her. Like she sounds really cool, very prominent. Um, so like I'm trying to dive deeper into that, but I mean, overall, studying African American history locally is very challenging, especially when you're going through the local newspapers um, and like trying to access all these full information that you may not find online. That's very challenging. So I'm doing my best to take a look at what I can find and trying to like connect the dots. Um, but yeah, okay, yeah, but yeah, I would say so. Um, yeah, Martin Kilsing. Yeah, like I didn't know, like, from learning about him, he grew up, um, he grew up pretty well. Like, he grew up in the northern part of Ambler near the Lindenwold, I believe. And yeah, like the life that he lived as an African American was really good. Like, everybody treated him and his family as normal as they can be, and it really tells you a lot about Ambler, like accepting anyone from any background. Ambler's a really special community for sure. You know, like yeah, sure. Back then there's some segregation um, with African Americans and whites, but overall they still like each other no matter what. They still follow some laws that there was placed during the time, but they still bonded with each other. There's still one community. Um, yeah, it's really interesting. Um, yeah, Ambler. Yeah. There's some things that people may not know about Ambler that they should know, and that's my job. I'm doing my best to do as much as I can to look into what type of things that people should really know about, and what are like especially when you're driving around Ambler with Payne or Lower Gwynedd, like you're driving around on Skipjack Pike or Butler Avenue or Bethlehem Pike, you see these old buildings, right? You see the new buildings too. Like, they don't really look good in the eye, but you're like your mind starts to be very curious to like like why does this building still exist? Why is it still standing? Like, what was this place before Wawa existed, right? Because I like to think about those things. Because my goal is to make it obvious, right? Um, I like to think about other people. I like to think about the people for sure. Um, they they truly love to like be curious, have an open mindset, right? They like to like ask questions. A lot of people like to ask questions from their head. They don't say it out loud, but I know what's going on in their mindsets. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm thinking in terms of everyday basis from the people. Um, I like to think in in their own perspective. Like when I see so many people driving around, like they may look at some things like left and right, but they don't really care to you know take a look deeper into it. But if you mention it, then their minds will be like, yeah, actually, I have seen that before. I didn't really know that this history existed. So that's something I'm trying to get the attention of from the people. They, yeah, yeah, yeah. You never know. Ah, yeah. Okay. So far, so good. Got 30 minutes. I gotta catch some Z's soon. I can't really stay up longer past midnight Vietnam time. Um, so yeah, hoping like maybe some people can jump in here at the last minute. Um, that'd be really cool. Uh, yeah, if any questions on any other curiosities that you guys may have, feel free to share in the comments. Do, 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 do. Capybara dancing here. Ah, hmm, yeah. If you look at the night sky in Vietnam, it's like really nice. They, you know, it's very peaceful. I am sorry that this live stream is more for Pennsylvania local history. I apologize, but uh, thank you for being part of this presentation or being part of this live stream. Yeah, so okay, yeah. So I'm again moderating this chat. So I'm just making sure everybody's okay. Everybody okay? Yeah. So first live stream, not too bad, not too bad. Um, so far I got a lot of good questions from everybody. Uh, so let's see. Let's see what caught up. Up. Ah, okay. That's a good question. I have not tried to access the Ambler Gazette archives after 1947. Um, yeah, so it's challenging, but I think like if you're subscribed to the Philadelphia Inquirer or the New York Times, um, you should be able to access like the local newspapers after 1947. Luckily for me, I'm actually in school right now online, earning my certificate in school librarianship. So I have access to all the academic resources and databases that the school has offered me. So I have access to viewing the historical newspapers like the Philadelphia Inquirer and New York Times easily. I can access them very easily after 1947 and see what I can find. Um, so like if you can subscribe and we'll get like annual subscriptions or like monthly subscriptions, whatever you are comfortable with, of looking into historical newspapers, then I would recommend doing that. But if you're lucky enough to be at a school that is already subscribed to those resources, then go for it. Go for it. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna try to do that more often before um, my years at school is my year at school is officially done, which will be um, like sometime in the spring of the next year. So I have to make sure to use that more often before my time expires at school. Um, but yeah, um, so yeah, maybe try looking into subscriptions if you're into like paying monthly or yearly. Then definitely go for it. So, but yeah. Da, 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 da. Yeah, so I doubt that the Ambler Gazette includes newspapers after 1947. So that means you would have to go online or like maybe buy a subscription. Yeah, maybe. Or like the I would say like the Pennsylvania government website with the library, the Pennsylvania library website. Um maybe they have something. But who knows? I haven't really looked in that for a while. I've been super busy with my full-time job and of course with the time difference. Um, but I will see for myself after this, and see if I can get access, and I'll definitely let you know. Um, but as of now, I already know that I'm able to look into historical newspapers after 1947 through um, my school's subscriptions to Philadelphia Inquirer, New York Times, Philadelphia Tribune, all those types. So I'm very fortunate to access those. So yeah. But yeah, the Wissahickon Valley Historical or Wissahickon Valley Public Library. Um, I doubt they have the archives after 1947. So definitely look into um, the Pennsylvania government website, or just you know go for it with subscriptions. We'll have to see. Do. Okay, not too bad. Well, okay, for those who are here, thank you for sticking around. Yeah, I'm managing both things at once, just making sure everybody's comments are read and acknowledged, making sure we keep track of the just moderating the comments as well. I never knew live stream could be so much work. Yeah, yeah, definitely have to think about doing this again. Maybe around New Year's time. Uh, yeah, maybe I can do that again when you guys are hopefully staying up till midnight. Um, yeah, I have to multitask. That's my job. I should be used to it by now. It's like it's happening at my work. I mean, not only am I working at the um, yeah, not only am I working at the library, but I'm also doing some other things to help the school. Like recently, I've been proctoring for an exam for some teachers who were absent that day, so I had to be in charge of the exams as a backup proctor, so that was pretty fun. But yeah, I did keep track of spam. Yeah, I should have known the spams would come. I mean, like I'm sure that some other like live streamers they've encountered that before, but if they have more than 100 subscribers or something, then no problem. Like they don't really care. But for like a small group like this, yeah, I can easily keep track of who's spamming in our live stream and who's who I should look out for. But yeah, so far I've been thanks to your help, guys. I've been catching up on those types of people, and yeah, definitely look out for those next time. Yeah. Whew. All right, we got 20 more minutes. Hopefully, we can get more people. I'm sure some people might be at work right now, may not be able to catch up on this. Um, that's totally okay. Hopefully, I get some feedback from all of my followers after this. We'll have to see how this will go. Yeah, I should have put up a survey on my social media if like what day is best for them, what time would be suitable. Yeah, so like if they want it close to noontime, that noontime Eastern Standard Time, uh, then I had to make the live stream shorter, of course. So yeah, yeah, it's all right. It's all right if people are busy. It's okay. Um, so this is the first try. Yeah. Um, have I researched any other areas? Uh, Not really, but actually, I am. I'm currently working with somebody from Chester County. Um, he's asking me to create a website for him to about Chester County's history. So he's actually did all um, the research part of Chester County already. He already wrote a book about it. So my job is to simply create a website version of the book that he wrote about Chester County and creating it in a way that is very engaging and interactive with the followers. So technically, I'm doing something about Chester County, but um, he's the one who's doing more of the work um, with the research and all. So I'm currently working with him. He's a really cool guy. He's a retired lawyer. He we pretty much like it bonded immediately after talking about like everything, all local history and all the news that's happening. Um, but yeah, he's really cool guy to work with. Um, but yeah, I mean, after this live stream, I will definitely send out an email to my subscribers. Yeah, so just like any suggestions of what day. Um, yeah, I had to multitask on everything that I had to do, uh, which is okay. So everything's okay. Everything's all right. The first live stream, everything's going well. Glad to get all the questions answered. That's really what I'm looking forward to. Um, but yeah. All right. Yeah. Moderating. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of moderatings with my own students, just keeping watch of these spam comments. and all. Yeah. Thanks, Mike. Yeah, maybe I should have you as a moderator. Actually, there is an option that I can have you as a moderator, Mike, if that's okay with you. Next time if I do this live stream, you want to help me out with that? But yeah, yeah, YouTube is pretty good with live stream. Bouncer. Yeah, I mean, if you like, yeah, that'd be cool. Um, but yeah, I can also look out for the comments too. Uh, but yeah, I'm like, I mean, like the good thing about this right now, I'm glad I got all the questions. Those are really excellent questions that I got from all from like those who participate. They're very excellent. Thank you for that. Um, I hope more and more people will join. Like, as I have so many followers on, Facebook. I got good subscriber numbers and Instagram followers too. But um, for some reason, like it's just the timing. I guess it's just really bad. Um, So yeah, maybe on a weekend would be better if that's okay with everyone. Or um, yeah, so we got more people coming in. Yeah, cool, cool. Yep. So for those who are new, say hello to my little capybara and stuff. It's like a best friend to me. Yeah. So yeah, let me see. I'm gonna have you as a moderator here, Mike. Let's see how that works. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll have to see how this goes. But yeah. So I see Tiffany. Yeah, thank you, Tiffany, for being here on this live stream. I'm so glad that you can make it. Um, I'm glad. I hope I can answer. Hope I answered all the questions that you um, have for me. Um, so maybe next time when I do a live stream again, I can see you again. Um, so, so yeah, yeah, Mike. Thanks for all your help, man. You've been a really good friend. Um, you've you've been supporting me throughout my journey with my website. And yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing you soon. Yeah, yeah, me too. I'm really hoping that more and more people will um, catch up. Yeah, so like I mean, I think it's worth it. I mean, doing this live stream is a good idea for those um, who really I really like try to get more followers to really, if they really want to have a chance to meet me in person, or like meet me through here, I think it'd be a good idea. Maybe since I do have more followers on Facebook, maybe I should do the live stream on Facebook, but who knows. um but we'll have to see. Just still trying to experiment. I'm still trying to catch up on some sleep and relaxation after I don't know how many months I've been working, like 6 months already. Has it been 6 months? No, August. So, oh, it's like only 4 months. Only 4 months already. I've been working my full time job. Yeah, but yeah, pretty much. Yeah, 10 more minutes. Hmm. Let's see. What can I talk about? Any ideas? Hmm. I'm like running out of ideas. I already talked so much for like 3 hours. Only 3 hours. That's crazy. All right. Gift of gab. But yeah, like maybe I can like probably share with how I travel around the city here in Vietnam. Um, I mean, like yeah, I've been seeing, I've been taking some like driving service. I'm not sure if I don't want to call it taxi, but like, it's like um, U.S. we have Uber, but here in Vietnam we have a lot of like services like similar to Uber. So like these services are based in like other parts of Southeast Asia. So I've been using one of them, which is called Grab. So Grab, you can also like not only use it to go anywhere with, but you can also order food on there as well. Um, Yeah. So I've been taking some like Grab services here in Vietnam if it's too far away from my home. If it's like close by to my place, I have my own motorbike or a little moped, as you may call it. So I just use that to drive around. I have not learned to drive with somebody with me on my bike, so I would have to learn that because it's going to be challenging to carry the weight of someone else behind you. So we'll have to see. Let's see. Da, 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 da. Is there like a lobby where you can see who's on? I believe so. Yeah, if you like, yeah, if you look at the top, yeah, Mike, if you look at the top right hand corner with the three dots next to the top chat, um, so if you click on the three dots, you see the participants. You get to really see uh, like who's on. So as of now, it's just you and me. Um, and then I believe Tiffany has left. So yeah, yeah, no worries. Yeah, we can definitely see. Yeah, we definitely have to modify the spam. Yeah, thank you. Oh, okay. Yeah, cool. Tiff, you're still here. Okay, cool. Yeah, sometimes a stream it just goes back and forth with like who's on, who's off. Yeah, so yeah, again, it's my first live stream. Still experiencing it, but I think it's a good start. What do you guys think? I think that's pretty cool. So you can see my little bedhead right now. Yeah. So yeah, I have to think like next time, like what what would my live stream be? How would it be different? How can we modify it? Yeah, yeah. So I guess we can probably end it here. So just want to say thank you for those who are able to make it on the live stream. Thank you so much for um, being here. I hope next time we can make the live stream better. Hopefully, more turnouts, more questions later on. The questions you guys have for me was really great. I really appreciate that. Um, but I hope someday when I make my live stream again, we'll definitely keep you updated. Um, so, with that, everybody, have a good rest of your day, and I will see you next time. So, take care, okay? Thanks, guys, for joining me.